So in the Shia rituals, they commemorate an event, a battle that happened about 50 years after the death of the Prophet, when the Prophet's grandson was killed in a battle, Battle of Karbala, where this was a very tragic event in the Muslim world. And so that martyrdom event is commemorated every year by Muslims, Shia Muslims particularly, and they would go through the streets and carry this kind of banner, this kind of flag, and you might have seen videos where they'll sort of beat themselves with these chains and with they've got razors on them. So it's a very sad ritual to commemorate the suffering that the grandson of the Prophet had in this battle, which was between Muslim forces. So it's a very tragic event in Islamic history. So it's really a beautiful piece, and it actually has, you can see sort of dragon heads on it. And then you've got calligraphy here, which says, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali. So, O Allah, O Muhammad, O Ali. Ali is the first Imam of the Shias. He was the cousin of the Prophet and the Prophet's son-in-law as well, and he's the first Imam for the Shia Muslims, the first spiritual leader who's supposed, to take on the guidance of the community after the death of the Prophet. So he was one of these very chivalrous, heroic types of figures, and he was known as the Lion of God. And if you look at, this is actually a calligraphy, it's a mirror image of those three words, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali. So if you look at this bottom part where it's the name of Ali, if you look at it from afar, you can see it forms a face, okay? If you look close there, you can see two eyes, a nose, and sort of cheeks. Can you see that? It's like a face. It's like a face of a lion. And he was known as the Lion of God because he was this very heroic, chivalrous figure in Islam. And so that's what that piece represents.
So what's the biggest difference?
What's that?
What's the big difference
Between Sunni and Shia?
Right, because in Saudi Arabia, they're
Predominantly Sunni. Yeah. So most of the world's Muslim population is Sunni, about 80 to 85%. 15 to 20% are Shia. And the major difference occurred after the death of the Prophet. There was the question of who's the rightful leader of the community. Because the Prophet was not just a religious leader, he was a political leader. He was the head of the state. So who was the rightful leader to succeed him? And what would be the nature of that leadership? Would it be political? Would it be religious? Would it be both? So the Shia Muslims believe that the rightful leader of the community should be from the family of the Prophet. So through his son-in-law and cousin Ali, who was the first Imam. So they believe that through the Prophet's family, that leadership of the Muslim community should be, whereas the Sunnis take a different stance that the leadership of the community should be from any person from the community that is of sufficient quality, character, etc. So you have that major schism that has occurred.
But is that the equivalent of in Britain's royal family? In the United States, more of a secular.
Not quite, but it's in the Western world we sort of differentiate secular. The church and the state are two separate entities, but in the Islamic world there isn't that so much of that separation of church and state. So the leader of the community is ideally someone who's both religious and political leadership. But now, for all intents and purposes, in most of the Muslim world, you have separate political leadership and separate religious leadership. But the big question is really who's the rightful leader from the time of the Prophet, and that's where this big schism has occurred, and which continues. The general beliefs of the two groups are essentially similar, but it's more just who's the rightful leader and who do you look for guidance in a modern context.
So the king of Jordan.
He's not a religious leader. He's a secular leader.
But he's connected to.
Yes, he traces his ancestry. You're right. It's called the Hashemite kingdom because the Hashemites were the family of the Prophet was the Hashemite family, like big tribes and their ancestry. So many thousands of people claim ancestry from the Prophet. Probably hundreds of thousands of people can claim ancestry from the Prophet's family.
How about King Abdullah?
King Abdullah
from Saudi Arabia.
Good question. I'm sure they would probably claim that too, but I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. So
Where are you
anyways,
from?